You were listening to chartingwealth.com for Tuesday, the 5th of December, 2017. We see stocks are down for the day. The S&P 500 down just a little bit, 0.12%. The Qs, that's the Nasdaq 100, down big, 1.14%. Looks like we could be getting close to a weekly vertical crossover going down by the end of the week. Hasn't happened yet. What do we see going on TLT? It was up 0.08%, and of course we had a weekly vertical crossover at the end of this last week. We'll jump into that. And gold down 0.34%. First, let's jump into the weekly charts as we always do with the S&P 500. Of course, the S&P 500 crossed over going up way back on the 29th of September. And it was unbroken going up for many, many weeks. Bit of a pullback on the week ending the 17th of November. And then so far the last, 2 weeks and the first day of the latest week going up. In fact, a big up candle so far. Now, again, remember, we use the Heiken Ashi candlesticks. They are calculated completely different. We do have some great training on that. We also have Chapter 5 of our book that we recently put out and uploaded for you to read that talks about Heiken Ashi. But I would refer you first to the Heiken Ashi training that you can find at chartingwealth.com at our website. Probably the best video we've ever done to help you understand that. Now, as we look at the weekly chart on the S&P 500, we see that the derivative oscillator has lost energy at the start of the week. It's just the first day of the first 5-day candles, so don't get bent out of shape over it. The derivative oscillator, the price percent oscillator is continuing to move up, however. Not as strong as it was in the prior week, but it's only the first day. But it is interesting. Now, again, as we look at the 2-day chart, of course, we saw that 2-day crossover back on the Wednesday, the 29th of November. So we're going into, again, the latest 2-day candle ended on Friday, and we're just into the first day of the newly drawing candle. It won't end until Tuesday, the 5th, at the close of the business day then. So we have up movement, and again, derivative oscillators moving up after that 2-day vertical crossover going up. Derivative oscillators flipped into the positive. And again, this first day, the latest 2-day candle is not up as strong as it had been prior, but it is still up. As we look at that 4-day chart, what do we see? Well, we're waiting for a bit of a pullback to allow us an entry point after the 2-day crossover going up. Has not happened yet. Still looking for that. That's our traditional way of getting in. We wait for a pullback, and then the 4-hour chart cross back over going up, and we would look to jump in. You want to know more about how we think and how we do those things, and of course sign up at chartingwealth.com for free. You'll get an email, and there you will see the How to Read a Stock Chart video link to that. And in 15 minutes, you'll learn just how we think and why we do what we do. Some great free training right there. That's where we are on the S&P 500 beginning of the week. Let's jump into the Qs. The Qs is up on the 2-day and the weekly as far as the end of the week, but look what we have happening. Big down day, 1.14%. And of course, derivative oscillator had already been losing some energy the prior week, and the price percent oscillator was headed down, but even closer after the big day down. We look at the candles, spinning top at the end of the prior week, of course, followed by what looks like a doji so far this week. Now, as we hone deeper in on that 2-day chart, what do we see? Well, of course, we had that weekly, I keep saying weekly, 2-day, I'm so used to the weekly vertical cross. So the 2-day crossover going down on Friday, followed by an even bigger drop. Now, our candles were showing us that the Nasdaq 100, that is the Qs, was weakening significantly. And of course, it did show that. And again, it's just the first day of the latest 2-day candle. A lot more down move that was recovered. But again, strong down movement. Now again, what does that 2-day vertical crossover do for us? Well, of course, it changes from the 2-day chart moving up to a 2-day chart that's rotated over thanks to the vertical crossover going down to now the schizophrenia that doesn't allow us to make a trade until the weekly moves over going down or till the 2-day moves back over going up. But significant weakening, the first we've seen in a while, in a month, on the Nasdaq 100, the tech stock. So again, continuing to see down movement there and a big down day. Let's check out the 4-hour chart. You can see a little up in the morning and then just crashing down hard in the afternoon. That 4-hour chart continuing to just rocket down. So again, strong down movement. We'll continue to watch. We don't have a trade in the Nasdaq 100 right now with that big 2-day crossover going down. We'll continue to watch things. And again, if it pulls that weekly chart all the way over to where we have a weekly vertical crossover, we'll sure let you know at the end of the week. Remember, we don't have weekly vertical crossovers until that weekly candle is drawn. But as far as Monday goes, it sure looks close. Now, there could be a bounce back, and it could pull away from crossing over the red signal line. But it's looking pretty darn close right now. We will keep you posted. Next, let's go to TLT. That's a 20-year bond. Remember, we had that weekly vertical crossover going up at the end of the week. We sent the text alerts out to everyone on Friday, the 1st of December. And what do we have to show for the first day? Well, up 0.08%. And so far, the candle, well, we're seeing the derivative oscillator gain energy and the price percent oscillator continue to move up. We have a red spinning top at this point, means mostly indecision on that weekly chart. Now, as we hone in a little more, what do we see on the 2-day chart? Have a green spinning top, which again, indecision tending up. And we see that the price percent oscillator is continuing to move up. Derivative oscillator, however, is losing some energy. And of course, we look at the 4-hour chart. What do we see? A little bit down in the morning and up in the afternoon. Don't have that crossover yet, but looks like it's getting pretty close. Now, those of you who know the rules on jumping in on the weekly vertical crossover, you can check the market in the morning around 10:30, see how things look on that 30-minute chart. What would that have showed you this morning around 10:30? Well, it showed you that things were actually moving up quite nicely. So maybe you chose to jump in somewhere in there. You saw a pretty nice little appreciation moving along, and then of course crossed over later. Now again, we don't use that 30-minute chart, but to sort of just see how the market is on a morning after a weekly vertical crossover. You don't ever have to use it. Why? Because you can wait to use your 4-hour candle. You can wait until the morning candle closes and the afternoon candle opens. That opened at about 126.17, and the high ended up being 126.67, up about 50 cents. So again, either way, whichever you feel comfortable with, and I want to encourage you to practice different ways. Again, remember, we're not a stock calling service. We're not giving any advice about spending real money. We're talking about doing virtual trades, and you do that by going to any of the online brokers, opening up a virtual trading account, and practicing with us using that trade worksheet that's included with every email we send out to all of our subscribers to our daily market review. How do you get that daily market review? Go to chartingwealth.com and sign up. Let's get to that last chart. That's where we are. We'll continue to track TLT and see how well that weekly vertical crossover does for us. What's going on gold? Well, gold crossed over going down all the way back on the 6th of October and went sort of sideways for a while, down a little bit, really just tracking sideways mostly since sometime around, the week ending the 27th of October. So about a month it's really been moving sideways. We do see so far in the first day of the 5-day candle, the weekly candle, we do see some strong down movement actually penetrating the 2-day trend line. And again, the weekly still in a confirmed down move. What's going on that 2-day chart? Well, it had crossed over going up back on the 17th of October, went up and then sort of petered out and is now the last two 2-day candles, which again, it's really just a candle and a half because we only have the first day of the latest 2-day candle. Strong down movement. Don't have a crossover yet, but if we do have a crossover on that 2-day chart, that might set things up for a down trade since the weekly's already in a confirmed down move. What's going on that 4-hour chart? well, we're seeing it start to work a little better. Again, it's getting closer and closer every day to the 15th of December, and that's about the time that we just give up on that 4-hour chart. You know how good it is throughout the year, how great it has been to us. Started getting weak as of late. And again, if gold's not trending hard, it's hard to use an oscillator like the derivative oscillator and particularly the price percent oscillator. But so far, not so bad on this latest downtrend. And remember, all things being equal, the markets tend to move in the direction of the largest chart, which is the weekly. So it shouldn't surprise you too much that the 4-hour chart paralleling movement down in the weekly chart might be a little more accurate than those prior attempts to move up. That's where we are, folks, at the end of the day on Monday the 4th as we go into Tuesday the 5th of December. Hope that you had a great weekend and are looking forward to continuing to practice throughout this powerful fall-winter trading zone in particular. Let us hear from you. You have questions, problems, concerns, we're happy to hear them. CW@chartingwealth.com, and make sure that you sign up for our daily market review so you can get all the good stuff we have to offer. Working on a new video, understanding the magic of the weekly vertical crossover. You're seeing it now with TLT. We'll continue to push this and teach you more and more about it. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team here at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.